Hi, everyone. I am so excited today because I am speaking with author Wendy Walker. Again, we had talked before. We get to talk about her brand new book called Don't Look for Me. And you know what, Wendy? I just have to tell you, in case you thought I was stalking you at some point, you put in the hashtag in Instagram and all the people who are hashtagging it are coming up. And I was kept, because I just finished reading it and I'm like promoting it. I'm like, yes, please go read this book. I agree. And then you're like commenting under it. I'm like, she's going to think I'm weird, but
Awesome. It's awesome.
It's awesome to have that because I'm kind of new at Instagram, not new at it, but new at the different hashtag things. It is everywhere. And even to this day, this book came out September 15th. I was thinking I was 2 minutes.
Yeah,
okay. So it is a month in and people are still talking about it every single day on Instagram.
Well, yeah, it's great. We got some momentum going, and it's been, especially during the pandemic, it's been such a great resource to just get the word out because bookstores are just opening up, but some of them very limited, and a lot of them didn't order books that were coming out while they were closed. So the books coming out now, they're starting to order, but I'm no longer a new release. You know, a lot of the independent bookstores didn't order hard copies. They were just fulfilling orders that were made, through the website. So this is like a great opportunity for people to see the book and hear about the book in an organic way, not, when they're actively shopping on Amazon or wherever they go to buy books. So, yeah.
This book has just been out there, and everybody is talking about it and reading it and loving it. I think that I connected to Molly, the main character, on such a level. She's a mom. I'm a mom. You're a mom. Like we connect, but the feelings that she had that you described in the first chapter, where are you when your children get older? Where do you fit in? I read it again today just because I wanted to get a sense of it again. It made me tear up again. I was like, I am her, like in a sense of we're just trying to navigate. Where do we fit into our adult children's lives at this point?
Yeah. And in the book, actually, that scene, that first chapter came from a real life moment that happened to me. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, I know it's never happened before. I mean, I draw from my life and my experience, mostly in my work, actually, but also as a mother in all of my books. But this moment happened. I was at my son's soccer game. He's not at boarding school, but he was playing at a boarding school. And it was a terrible game, bad ref calls and heckling and really bad sportsmanship and the kind of thing that as a mother, you just want to run out on the field and scoop him up and take him home. But he's, 18 years old, like a varsity soccer, senior year, junior year of high school. And it was coming on top of a lot of other things going on in my life. And this feeling that my kids were getting older and that I was no longer able to protect them. And so I then had a 4-hour drive to let all of this emotion just stir and just driving these back roads and they go on forever. And there's sometimes no one around you. You just have no distraction. So your thoughts can go down rabbit holes and then they can spark emotional reactions. And I was feeling all of those things. I was feeling powerless. I was feeling useless. I couldn't protect my children anymore. They were going to go out into the world and they were going to find cruelty and unfairness, and they have their hearts broken. And I mean, they're fortunate kids that they aren't going to suffer poverty and, worse things than that. But still, as a parent, right, it's a hard thing to accept that you can't fix everything with a Band-Aid and a snuggle on the couch with a movie and some hot chocolate. Like you can't fix it anymore. And all you can do is be there and be supportive. But that wasn't satisfying my brain as I was driving. And then I stopped at this gas station and I saw this road and it just was going on forever. And I'm telling you, I have this flash of a thought, and it's akin to the thought you have when your cell phone is acting up and you want to chuck it against the wall. And it happens so quickly. It's like, you can feel the impulse and you can feel your rational brain swoop in and say, $700, the cloud might not be working. And your emotional brain like recedes. It's like, okay, fine. And it's called like emotional hijacking when the emotional brain comes up really strong and it ignites your fight or flight instinct because something is causing you pain and distress. Even if it's emotional, the brain is like, okay, there's a road, go down the road and you'll stop feeling bad. And it's so irrational, but it's emotionally driven. And then the rational brain quickly comes in and, swoops it aside. The whole way home after that, I was thinking, this has to be the genesis of actions that people take where the emotions are so powerful, much bigger than what I'm feeling, that they actually do hijack the decision making and cause that person to act. So that's how Molly was born. And then I had to go home and create, the worst cocktail of pain and anguish and guilt and grief. And so, she lost a child 5 years before, everything falling apart in her life. And she feels responsible for the accident that took her child. And it was so hard to give her all of those things as a mother, because I the whole time I was doing it, it was like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this to this character. But I had to do that because that is the kind of emotional distress that causes the kind of hijacking that would make her walk down the road. And she needs to be on that road to be abducted. So I needed everyone universally to understand what would make her just have that sort of breakdown. That's where it came from. And I think it's still a really powerful chapter because of that. So I'm glad it's resonating with you, even though it is very hard to read as a mother. But sometimes I think we need to go there to experience other people's pain, to relate to them. It's not easy to do, but when you do have that connection to the character, it then brings you into the stories in such a powerful way that you just want to know what happens, and you want her to be better, and you want her to heal.
Yeah. And I love the relationship between her and her daughter, because I have 2 daughters. I have 6 children, but I have 2 of them are girls.
That's really what drives the book. So you have Molly and you're with her every moment. It's not like just a missing person case. So it doesn't become Nicole's story. It's both of them, alternating chapters. So you're with Molly in her captivity, trying to get out. When Nicole gets this new lead and a new opportunity to maybe find her mother, and then she also decides, you know what, even if she did walk away, I'm still going to find her. And she just realizes, you know what? No, this is not okay. I want my mother back. And that moment, for both of them, Molly realizing that no matter how bad things are, she can't leave her family and she wants her family back. And Nicole realizing that no matter how bad things are with her mother and how guilty they both feel over the death of this youngest child in the family, that they have to get past it and get back their love and get back their family. And this horrible thing that happens in this small town, the abduction of Molly, brings that fight out in them to not just get out of this one situation, to finally heal and reclaim their love for each other and reclaim their family. And that becomes, they go from being depressed and abusing alcohol and all sorts, Nicole, especially as a teenager, and bad habits and just depression, to being like, all right, no, enough. This is a wake-up call. We love each other. We love our family. We can do this. We can get it back. And so it becomes a fight for that as much as it is about finding Molly and rescuing her, and then her rescuing Nicole, actually, because she gets in quite a bit of danger herself as she goes to this creepy small town to look for her mother. So yeah, it is very much about the bond between a mother and a child and a mother, family dynamics, the love of family, all of those things.
Yeah. You just hit everywhere. I started this book. Sometimes I'll start a book before I go to bed, which is the stupidest thing ever,
I know.
But I'll do it because I'm up and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me just start a book. Well, your book, I started, it was 2:30. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to. And I set my phone down because I always read them on my phone. Another really bad habit, but I do. And I set it down. I'm like, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. But that's how your chapters flow. The back and forth of Nicole and Molly resonated with me so much that I would be done with, I'd be like, okay, I'll read a Molly chapter. No, okay, I'll read a Nicole chapter, then it's bedtime. And of course I finished it the next day. I mean, it was just, and everybody is saying that. I am not the only one. Everybody is saying that.
Nice.
And I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for the success of this book. You deserve it so much.
Thank you. It was really constructed in that way to be page turning that way. So by splitting the time frame and having the 2 narrations and keeping the chapters kind of short, they play off each other. And so you always know something that the character doesn't. Then it gets resolved a little bit, and then you learn something new that the next character doesn't know. So every time you enter a new chapter, you're worried about that character anew. Like you have new information that you need that character to know, and you want to reach in the pages and tell her that information. And sometimes she finds it out, and sometimes she doesn't, and she gets further into trouble. But I tried to keep the suspense with a little bit of relief and then more suspense going. And it's a lot of careful construction that goes into that, trial and error, having other people read it and trying to get it just right. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And this book, I seem to have gotten it right in terms of the pacing. Yeah. And then when you add the emotional component, it was like a really powerful cocktail of suspense and emotion. So you don't always know if it's going to work. And so it's been so gratifying to see that my little concoction has hit its mark, and it's been satisfying readers. So I'm really, really thrilled about that.
Well, I want to tell you that I just came across your Audible, and I'm so upset that I only found out today, because I would have spent yesterday with it.
Oh, yes.
It makes me very angry with Audible that I spend lots of money on, a huge portion on, but Audible I'm sure they're going to work this out, that we will get to know about these things quicker. I love that they're doing it. And I want to know, from an author's perspective, these short Audibles, how do you feel about them? It could go somewhere, right?
Yeah. Well, so what's amazing about it is that it gives an author the opportunity first to have a little bridge project in between big novels, but also it's a venue to have a short, which are not, they're not popular in terms of publishing. Like if you come out with a novella, it's not going to have the same buzz as a full-length novel. Some stories really don't lend themselves to a full novel. So I had been carrying around this little sequel to All Is Not Forgotten, which was my breakout thriller. And it had this character, Dr. Alan Forster, who I still adore writing. He's not the most likable character. He's more likable in the Audible original. But when this opportunity came up, I thought, oh my gosh, this would be the perfect chance to use this little sequel idea that I have, which I didn't think I could pull off in a full-length novel. There wasn't the twist in it. It would have gotten diluted and lost. And then I combined that with this other story that I had actually been conspiring with some other authors years ago. We never got around to writing it or doing anything with it. But, authors talk a lot about plots and we riff off each other. And so I had some ideas that were riffing off of this serial killer plot. And of course, I asked their permission to use it. And we actually all took our own ideas and have used them in our novels, which is really fun to see. Yeah. So I took those two ideas and they both fit beautifully together. And it gave me this wonderful opportunity to tell this story and bring readers back to Dr. Forster, and then hopefully to All Is Not Forgotten if they haven't discovered my work yet, because that book still is, very close to my heart. So you don't have to read All Is Not Forgotten first. You can actually listen to.
That was my next question.
Yeah, it's called Hold Your Breath. And if you want to find it quickly, go to Amazon and just type in Hold Your Breath, and it will take you to Audible. Audible doesn't have a search. I'm not sure why. I have a direct link on my website. If you want to just have a quick find, go to my website and there's a link right to the place where you can buy it from Audible. But you can also go to Amazon and they give you options for purchasing there too. So you really just need an Amazon account to listen to it. You don't need an Audible as well. It will work. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's wendywalkerbooks.com. Yeah. So, and if you're on Instagram or Facebook, my website is in my bio links. So I'm pretty easy to find.
You are.
It's only 2 hours. It's such a quick listen, and it's really fun. And it's narrated by the same narrator who narrated All Is Not Forgotten. So there's a continuity.
That's awesome. And, as a reader, I enjoyed Sarah Pekkanen and Greer had done.
Yes.
One. And another one that I stumble upon. I'm like, how am I not getting notified? But I was hesitant. Okay, it's a short. I'm not a short person. I'm a deep book person, but I listened to it and I was like, what a great, so I, of course, I'm going to listen to yours too. And so if you are thinking that right now, like, oh no, I like to dive into a book. No, it's a quick listen. Like when you're in the car, if you got a little drive to do, it's really quick and you're like, wow, that is awesome. I love it. So I am loving the concept. I hope Audible does more with it, with other authors. And I think it's a great way for you guys to be more out there. And like you said, between books, but we are running out of time. And I really want to ask you about your newest. So you have that coming out. You've got these two things out there. What are you doing right now?
So right now I have 2 book ideas and I've written up proposals. I just have to decide which one to write. And it's really, really hard because it's the next sort of chapter in my writing career, and I'm looking at the the feedback from Don't Look for Me and what people are loving about it. And I very much listen to readers. I have these 2 ideas, and I want to make sure that I continue to give readers what they're enjoying. And it's very instructional for me to get the feedback and see that, okay, they love the fast pacing, but they also love the emotional depth, and they love the sort of uniqueness of this story with the creepy town and the girl that's in the house with Molly, and there's no violence and there's no killing and violence. It's really a psychological thriller, but there is some terror in that she is not able to leave where she's being held. So we'll see. I'll get something written pretty quickly once I pick which one, because I know the stories. They're both in my head, and so I'm just consulting my people to see what everybody thinks we should do. And then I'll be off to the races writing that pretty quickly.
Well, you have a gift, and I will read anything you write. So.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
Yeah, I love the psychological thrillers, and I am so happy that we got to talk about it again. I will put the Amazon link. I will put Wendy's link. I love your covers, and I was looking at them as a whole on your website. Yeah. Like, your covers are amazing. They've
been great. Yeah.
Yeah, you've had some great covers, and everybody is posting that one. Everybody loves that cover. So
I know, it's so nice.
Happy
I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you so much for supporting authors and really helping us get our books out during the pandemic. It's been amazing.
Yeah, you guys have helped us keep sane, giving us something to do. I do want to talk to you the next one, so I look forward to your next book. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.